Hi, this is Dave Bennett. It is August 25th, 2015, and I want to go over MOWG. So let's start with this. When you get MOWG, there's two pieces to it. You download it and installed. One of them is the MOWG Pro interface, and that's this piece here. Okay. It's just got a handful of fields on a handful of tabs, and that's really about it. So there's just a few things that you can possibly do with the MOWG interface. Okay. And inevitably, it just means this. We are expecting, MOWG expects you to have an HTML file, a separate CSV file that will coordinate with the HTML file, and then just somewhere where you would put the pages. If you have FTP info for somebody, for file transfer protocol, so you can upload pages to their websites, then you would need the FTP info, and that's the path where the pages will start, and then from there proceed outward. So just where are we going to put the pages is the only question. And username and password go with that. So FTP username and password with FTP, and boom, there you go. Okay. Very little past that concept. If we have an HTML page and a corresponding CSV file, we've got most emoji done. Okay, so that's the interface. Now, in order to prepare to use the interface, we got to set up our job. So we got to set up our HTML file and our var sheet. Then we can come back here and apply them. So let's step out. Okay, the first thing that you would have is the other part you installed, the MOWG Toolbar version 18. Okay, now we have all these different icons in here that macros really, they all run, they all do something. Now these have been added over the course of 6 years, and we haven't removed any, but these days we're not going to use a lot of these anymore. We're just going to use a few. Most of the reason for most of the macros was to allow article spinning. And article spinning is really not the point anymore. Okay, I'll just keep that short and save that lesson for another day. If you assume that you're not necessarily trying to article spin, but you're going to create a different base article for each website you work with, and from there you want to make lots of pages on each of those websites, then you don't need a lot of words. An 800-page page is huge. You can get away with a 200-word page. Okay, so that chops your work down right there. And for 200 words, you can have 2 or 3 variables, and you can pretty much make 1,000 pages or 1,500 that Google's going to index and like. Okay, that's really where MOWG is today. As a matter of fact, that's where most of Google is today. Again, the why's a different topic, but let's just step back and talk about how we do our job. All right, so let's say we had a bunch of prospects. As a matter of fact, think about it. How interesting would it be if you can show some people what you can do for them? If the whole goal is to say, hey, you have a 10-page website, I can make it 1,000 pages covering all the keywords you need. Pay me $200 and I'll have it ready for you by tomorrow. You know what? That's an easy $200 you just made. It'll take you half an hour to do it. Especially once you get going. How's that for cool? What if you say, hey, you've got 17 pages on your site. I can create a 600-page website for you for a buck a page. And the guy goes, well, I don't know about a buck a page. You say, all right, how's this? I create a 500-page website for you for 75 cents a page. The guy goes, okay, that's better. $3.75, I can afford that. If that works, let's talk about more. Great. You'll be done in half an hour, maybe an hour. Either way you look at it, this is great money. Very simple. Now, it's not the only way to use MOWG. You can use it for yourself. You can use it to create sites that you flip on flippa.com. There's all these different things you can do. But one simple concept is if it just takes you a handful of minutes to create a sample MOWG run for someone, put it up on a sample website so they can't have the pages and steal them, and just let them see. And you can do it for anyone in any industry. Just pick some lucky guy and say, hey, I was just playing around practicing my skills and I create a bunch of pages for your site. What do you think? If they're like, oh my gosh, those are great, can I have them? Say, that's the whole point, right? Say, well, I'll sell them to you. How about 150 for the work? As a matter of fact, I'll do them better. Whatever. I mean, you can go big, you can go small, you can go cheap, you can go expensive. You can talk with different people about different projects. But how hard is it to do? And that's the goal. One of the first things you can tell anyone is Let's see if your site is modern enough for us to use our software with. In other words, is your site a good candidate for our software? So I just took some prospects, mainly because they're Elkhart plumbers, which means that they have lousy websites, which means that if I offer them something cheap and simple, they might just bite. Who knows? PROJ. If I assume 1 in 5 guys will bite, I want to get 5 jobs done in like an hour, maybe an hour and a half. Now let's think about this. Plumbers. Say you just pick some industry you know, because it doesn't have to be plumbers. It can be anything. All right. Say you pick some industry you know, and you just say, that's my industry. I'm going to offer guys work for that because really they got all the money. The brick and mortar companies, you should offer them something they're often buying, especially because they're not web savvy. Anything you have for them is better than what they have for them. All right. Here's the point. Plumbers. Usually plumbers need like 40 top keywords. As a matter of fact, how many of you know you can just go to Google and look up the best keywords for an industry? Often you can do something like that. Top plumbing, keywords, literally. And there's some place here where you can like get the whole list from somebody who does this kind of thing for a living. If you can believe that, that's exactly what they're doing. So here's all these different keywords that guys should be showing up for. Attach geo-targeting to that, and you're off and running. If you grab 40 of the top keywords for a guy, and that's 40 top keywords times 10 to 15 cities the guy services, for example, that is a 400 to 600 page website. Because you're going to have combinations like South Bend Emergency Plumber, Mishawaka Emergency Plumber, Goshen Emergency Plumber. In other words, the same keyword is going to be used 10 times, for example. And then the next keyword used 10 times, then the next one 10 times. And by the time you're done, you got 40 keywords times 10 cities is a 400-page website. Okay, you could sell that thing off 50 cents a page if the guy and let the guy buy as many as he wants. How's that for cool? So you're just creating 1 page per keyword. That's it. That's all you should do. That's what Google wants to see. Even if the page is tiny, as long as you have 1 page per keyword, Google loves it on any one site. Okay, how fast? Again, not everyone's going to buy our sample work, but many will. Like 1 in 5 will definitely say, heck, I can't resist. I want those to add to my site. So it's just you only want to do it if it's going to be a good candidate. Okay, for example, I'm just giving you an idea. You can do whatever you want with MOWG. It's a developer tool. All right, so I'm going to create a folder called projects or whatever. I'm going to put my first project in here. When I open it, I'm going to put an Excel file in here I can work with. Okay, because that's the other part now. Like I said, the other part of MOWG is up here. It's the Excel toolbars. Okay, so we need to start with Excel to import the website. Now, having done that, let me just copy this real quick so I can paste it a few times. Whatever. And that way I can just like renumber these really quickly, to, all right. And then for whatever's good, rename 3, rename 4, whatever's good, whatever I'm going to go with. Then I'll give it a proper name for just that company, you can do whatever you want. I'm just giving you an idea. So if I go in here, I might start with the first guy. That's this. Is that going to be a good candidate? Well, the MOWG Run will be entirely simple as long as this piece is easy. That's called importing a web page. So I'm going to paste the guy's website in here and follow the instructions. Do not have a slash. Get rid of it. Do not have any HTTP. Okay, get rid of all that. No www dot, none of that stuff. Just the domain name the way it is if you want to get the front page. If you want to get a separate page like features and benefits or who knows, contact us page, about us, whatever, that would be that front page /about-us.html. Just don't have extra stuff. No extra slashes, no http://www dot. Okay, for our intents and purposes, we're just going to assume the front page. All right, I'm just going to assume it. I'm going to hit OK. Boom. Now, it's going to ask me again. And really, the second time, the reason it's asking where do all the CSS files and image files start? Do they start here or do they start further in, like domain.com, like griffinph.com / who knows, WP-content for WordPress? Okay, for those of you savvy enough to chase file paths in source code, you can go figure that out. We don't have a single answer to that, and it's very hard to teach people that if they just have never had that training. So we don't provide that information directly via support. We provide it via service. If somebody buys that work from us or pays us to teach them specifically how to do this kind of thing, then we can do that. All right, but we're service based, not support when it comes to this. Okay, it's just everybody's in a different place. All right, very, very, very often, unless you're more savvy, all you want to do is see if it's easy. And if you can do it easily, then you're happy to do it. Okay, so just put the domain name, the base one. Now, if on the last window you really did go for a further page like about-us.html, that was true for then. It is not true for now. Now you need to get rid of that part and just stick with the base. Okay, right like that. So this second time, the question again is where are the CSS files and the images and everything, all the related files. And it's going to come off the root probably, but it will not come off of an HTML page. It cannot. It cannot be about-us.html because then it would have to be /images, and that's not possible. Okay, so for those of you who are savvy, you follow me already, you understand that the idea is this is where the images should be. Or you would put something like WP-content because the images are always going to be there. You know, the CSS is always going to be there, etc. Otherwise, just leave it here, and either it's going to work or it isn't. Okay, so for basic guys, just leave it there. Okay, let's see. HTML. It says it saved it. Let's see how it looks. I see an HTML file now. There wasn't one, now there is. Let's see how that thing looks. Ooh, so far so good, right? Wow, that's nice. Okay, I'm going to click her off. And there you go. The page looks pretty good. Now, very often, we're going to want to compare it anyway to make sure it looks right, like we're not missing some huge background image that we would need. So I'm going to right-click the logo just in case, because if you hover over it, a logo, very often you'll see down here where it'll click to, and it should be the front page of the site. Well, I don't want to go there by clicking on it. I want to right-click and open the link in a new tab, right? So I can compare, because I want to see how this looks compared to their real front page. And she's not coming out again only because she's out already on this page. It's it, right? But there you go. Everything looks pretty good. It looks like a great page. There might be ever so slight differences, like there might be a slight spacing difference up in the phone number or something. No one cares about that. Really, no one cares about that. This is cool. You could do a run on this thing. All right, let me close this. All right, so that one is pretty good. I might save the name like Griffin PH, something like that. Okay, so I might just go rename one dash, Griffin PH. And for those of you who are savvy enough to realize, don't put a dot in a folder name. Don't go .com. That's not usually a good idea. So take it to an underscore or a dash. So make it something like _com. Okay? That way you can know it's griffinph.com, but you've got it saved with an underscore because you really should not have dots in folder names. They can screw things up. So let's just click on that. And it can't because I opened it in Excel. That's right. I have it open here. Let me close it. Boom. Okay, now try it. Wow, there, all good. Let's try the next website. Now watch how fast this goes, because now that we know what we're doing, it's going to be a lot quicker. So let me just do it. I'm going to import. Okay, okay, save, close this, and as long as I can open that and it looks good compared to the original, then this is definitely a possibility. Now again, hovering over the link, I can right-click, open in a new tab. I can already see that. Let's compare. Okay, this is looking pretty good. Only reason for the image differences, of course, is because they're scrolling. So yeah, whatever. This is fine. I like this kind of thing. All right. So now, if we go scrolling down, we can continue to check. Okay, let's just continue. Make sure everything's right. Ooh, okay. See these little question marks? It usually means a difference in the encoding of the page itself. How can we deal with that? Well, that's pretty easy, really. So we're going to deal with that. Just kind of Check back. Yeah. That's about it. The bolding is normal. This is bolded, and it was bolded here originally. And then if you scroll down, like the last sentence is bolded. And that's it. Other than that, everything else here looks right. I can work with this thing. This makes sense. I can deal with it. Okay, let me fix that bit here. Okay, so here's how we do that, just so you see it. Okay, let me just close it. I can edit it, or I can open it with Notepad. Right. The idea is to get it open in Notepad. So I'm going to edit it, or you can open it in Adobe, Dreamweaver or whatever. And let me go find those things. They're going to be down, down here in the coding. I'm starting to see them now. There's one. So all I have to do is delete them. All these silly things, right? Just like that. And then once I'm done, I'm done. Now, really, this is not going to take long. It's just a handful more and I'm done, right? Don't really have to put thought or attention into it. So this is a worthwhile candidate, okay, for a MOWG Run, even if I don't really know much of what I'm doing. Again, this is actually right about the hardest part of a MOWG Run. The only things that are going to be unusual for you beyond this is if you've never been inside Excel. That might feel a little strange at first, but not for long. And if you've never dealt with FTP before, see, now we got it. It's all right. Everything is straight. Everything looks just like the original. Let me check that bottom. Make sure that's true. All right. And just going to the bottom. Yeah, it's exactly the way it is. All right, that's all I had to know. Okay. Boom. There you go. Now, I could keep going and you'll get the point. Let me do some T to H websites real quick. So let me just, and again, I can rename it, right? Boom. Again, doesn't take long to do this. I've been talking to you the whole time I'm doing it, and if I didn't have to, it'd be even quicker yet. So let me go ahead and do that. Now, let's try another one. This is going to be a T to HA website, same kind of thing. So this is the websites that we develop ourselves with theme to HTML. And we have built it to work with MOWG. And for any little differences that exist over the course of time, we're going to make them work better and better because we like making all this work together. It's just really cool for us. All right, this is looking pretty good. I think this is about there. A couple of notes. One, let me see. I see two of these, so it'll be easy to find and delete them. We can search the source code and get rid of them. Second thing I see right off the bat, and I can compare it to the original. Again, here's the logo, and I can see down here it opens the main page, so let me right click. Open in a new tab. Now, here's going to be the other thing. If you know what font awesomes are, they're a certain kind of icon, like these green guys here. And if you scroll down, you see them over here. And then if you go to the bottom, you see them show up here for the buttons you can click on, social media. If you look at ours, they don't look right. Okay, they look like they're missing, but they don't look formatted wrong or anything. They really don't. Okay, but they still just look like they're missing. That's simple. The answer is don't worry about font awesomes. You're going to see a lot of these kinds of things on many different websites. They never will look good on your computer. They will only look good when you upload onto the server, onto the website. So that doesn't mean anything. They're not broken. If they look this good, they're not broken. Okay, they just seem to be missing, and when you put the web pages up online, they're going to reappear. Do any kind of test and you'll see it. It's just got to go back on their website to see it clearly. Okay, in the meantime, here we go. Let me just get rid of those two real quick. Edit, Control F. It said for myself. I don't have to worry about caps. All right, so I'm just going to drop that. And then it also said sluggish thyroid in here somewhere, but I don't know if it was above or below. So let me just go back to the top. That way I only have to search one way. Sluggish. I might just do that one word, because if it's sluggish and then thyroid was bolded or something, or the color was changed, then there'd be some coding in here that would throw this off. So it might be easier just to stick with sluggish with or without a space and just go and click a few times until I find what I'm looking for. There it is. Okay. Cool. All right. Because sometimes you'll see something like this. Okay. Span. Okay. I'm just showing you. sluggish, and then it'll be like span, and then thyroid, then end span. Now, of course, that would mean if I went searching for sluggish thyroid, right, it would have never seen this bit because this is no longer sluggish thyroid, sluggish span thyroid. Okay, that's what I meant by if you don't find what you're looking for right away, kill one of the words and just take it all the way out of the way because it can find sluggish. Sluggish is right here. Even sluggish with a space. But sometimes the coding is off. Sometimes the span will start here and the space will be in there. That's why I finally decided not to put that space up here, just in case. All right? Okay, I think that much is pretty clear. Okay, let me take that span off too, because it shouldn't be there in this case. All right, so this is the most important part of a MOWG Run, like I say, is the simplicity of getting a website down and looking right on your computer. Everything should look right on your computer. Again, with the exception of FAs, those font awesomes. Don't worry about that. By the way, they are called font awesomes. They are called FAs, if you're wondering. All right, let's try one that's really complex. I just want to show you. So this is the donate theme. Okay, I just want to show you that with T to HA, we have built this thing so you can really go all out, even with your own MOWG runs. Let's just see what that looks like. I'm going to import it and just keep it the way it is. Okay, close, and let's just close that. Okay, let me open that. Nice. Okay, all right, scroll down. Everything's looking right. Okay, notice the font awesome icons, right? Other than that, the images do their job. Okay, let's see what else. Okay, that looks good. That's even counting. Okay, that means these counted earlier, but they didn't have to count very long. Font awesomes again, no big deal. Look normal when it goes up. Again, the images are doing their job. Font awesomes. It all looks good. You can see everything acts right. Really, really cool. These are moving as they should. Okay. And the gallery images hover upward. Everything about this is good. I can deal with this page. Okay. Now, final word of warning. In some cases, you still have to correct links. You got to see if these links click through to where they're supposed to click through to. Okay. They should. By now they should. Everything should click through where it's supposed to click through to. Okay. That's the whole point of importing the web page. We're trying to correct the links and make everything work just fine. Okay. So just simply click through the links, make sure they're good. If you run into any errors and the guy pays you and you don't know how to fix something and the guy points it out, give us a call, send us an email, ask us a question. Either it's big and we got to charge you for it, or it's small and we can just tell you something real quick about it. You know how to fix it. All right, so there you have it. That's the first part. It's importing a web page, and what that does, let me just point this out. This does not give us a web page and a var sheet. This just gives us a web page right now, the HTML page. It does not give us the var sheet. We still have to create a var sheet. We don't even need this anymore. You could delete that. All we had to do was import it and make it look good. Once we had that much done, we don't even need this worksheet anymore. The only other point to make to that is this. If you don't see extensions on the files like .html or .xlsx, that means that your computer still has the default settings from when you bought it. Hit organize, okay? Hit folder and search options. Okay, Windows 8 and Windows 10, there are different places to see this, like under the word view, and then it'll say something like folder and search options. When you hit that, okay, then you can hit something like view, okay, view. And right down here, you'll see a checkbox for hide extensions for known file types. That's an extension for a known file type. .html, that's an extension. It's a known file type because it's .html, because the computer's been taught to know that thing. Okay. It's also been taught to know CSV, XLSX, and lots of other file extensions, most of them. For most people, when this thing is check marked and you hit OK, You see no extensions at all. Well, that's useless. You can't manipulate them. You can't even overwrite them. You can't even pretend to overwrite them because it's hidden so that you cannot write it. Even if I put something else in here, it will not change, right? It's still not a text file, even if I try to change it to one. And you can see why in a moment. When I go back to view, if I unclick it, now you get why. Index.txt really just became the name, and the rest of it was the real thing that I didn't get a chance to mess with. And so if I could delete it now, the .html part, then I'd have index.txt. See, I can manipulate it if I can see it, and if I cannot see it, I don't even know what it's saying. I don't know what version it is, whether it's CSV or XLSX maybe. All right, there you go. That's this, and we'll continue on with the rest of it in a separate video. We'll talk about the CSV file next and how that relates to the index file and how to think about variables in the first place. Then finally, we'll talk about FTP and other basic settings for the MOWG profiles, and you'll be off and running. Okay?